My neighbor who never texts texted me at 2 a.m. I just saw your teenage son climb out his window with a black eye and a packed bag. I stared at my phone screen in the dark bedroom, the text from Gerald Hobbs burning into my retinas. Gerald was 73, a retired postal worker who'd lived next door for 18 years and had never once sent me a text message. He called if the mail got mixed up or knocked on the door if our trash bins blew into his yard. The fact that he was texting me at 2 in the morning meant something was catastrophically wrong. I sat up in bed and my wife Vanessa stirred beside me but didn't wake. I pulled on sweatpants and a shirt, my hands shaking as I typed back asking if Gerald was sure it was our son. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, his response came through with a photo attached. The image showed my 15-year-old son, Kevin, climbing down the trellis outside his second-floor window, a dark backpack slung over his shoulder. Even in the grainy security camera footage, the swelling around his left eye was visible. I was out of bed and down the hallway in seconds, taking the stairs 2 at a time. Kevin's bedroom door was closed and I knocked once before pushing it open. The room was empty. His bed was made, which should have been my first clue because Kevin never made his bed. The window was open and cold November air poured through the gap. I looked out and saw the trellis he'd used to climb down, the same trellis I'd installed 6 years ago when Vanessa wanted climbing roses. I grabbed my phone and called Kevin's cell. It rang 4 times and went to voicemail. I called again. Same result. I sent him a text telling him to call me immediately, that I wasn't angry and just needed to know he was safe. The message showed as delivered but not read. I stood in his empty room trying to process what was happening and why my son had a black eye I hadn't known about and why he was running away in the middle of the night with a packed bag. My phone buzzed with another text from Gerald. He got into a gray sedan. 2 people inside. Couldn't see faces. Car went north toward the highway. I called Gerald and he answered on the first ring, his voice gravelly with sleep and concern. I was up using the bathroom and saw movement from my window. Thought it might be a burglar at first. Then I realized it was Kevin. That's when I saw his face under the streetlight. That black eye looked fresh, Stephen. Real fresh. I thanked Gerald and told him I'd handle it from here, though I had no idea how I was going to handle anything. I went back to my bedroom where Vanessa was now sitting up looking at her phone. She'd apparently seen my text to Kevin and was trying to call him herself. Where is he? She asked, her voice tight with the kind of panic only a parent can feel. I told her everything Gerald had seen and watched her face go white. He has a black eye. When did that happen? He was fine at dinner. I thought back to dinner 6 hours ago. Kevin had been quiet, but that wasn't unusual lately. He was 15 and moody and spent most meals staring at his plate. He'd gone up to his room around 8, saying he had homework. I checked on him at 10 and he was at his desk with headphones on, supposedly doing math problems. He'd waved at me without taking the headphones off and I'd closed his door thinking he was fine. Now I realized I hadn't actually seen his face clearly because the desk lamp created shadows and he'd been turned partially away from me. The black eye could have already been there. Vanessa was pulling on clothes and asking if we should call the police. I didn't know. What would I tell them? My son climbed out his window voluntarily with a packed bag and got into a car with people we didn't know. Was that even a police matter or just a parenting failure? I called Kevin's phone 5 more times while Vanessa got dressed. Nothing. I tried his 2 closest friends, Noah and Ben, but both calls went straight to voicemail because normal teenagers were asleep at 2 in the morning. I texted their parents apologizing for the late hour and asking them to have their sons call me urgently if they heard from Kevin. Then I went to Kevin's room and started looking for clues about what might have driven him to run away. His laptop was gone, taken with him in the backpack Gerald had seen. His phone charger was missing from the outlet by his bed. His dresser drawers were partially open, and I could see gaps where clothes had been removed. This wasn't impulsive, this was planned. Kevin had packed carefully and waited until we were asleep to execute his escape. The premeditation made it worse somehow, made it clear this wasn't a momentary teenage rebellion, but something he'd thought through. Vanessa found Kevin's journal in his desk drawer, tucked under some school papers. She held it up, asking if we should read it, and I could see the moral conflict on her face. Reading your kid's private journal violated trust and boundaries we'd always respected, but Kevin was missing with a black eye, and those boundaries seemed less important than finding him. Vanessa opened the most recent entry, dated yesterday. What we saw shocked us. Full story is linked below or on my channel.